Carmi Levy is standing by. He's our CTV tech analyst. And Carmi, I thought we'd start with a story about Threads. So Twitter, X, whatever, where so many people have said, you know what, they've left. I don't like it. Elon Musk hasn't done much to, I guess, convince them to stay. So Threads is signing up people apparently left and right. And we're talking in the millions here.
Yeah, they're saying they got 35 million new users last month alone, and they've got that brings them to 275 million what are called monthly active users. So basically, someone uses it at least once per month. And that's no surprise because if you've used Instagram, you've probably used Threads because Threads shows up in your Instagram feed. Of course, they both come from Meta. And when Meta launched Threads, they wanted to use Instagram's power, the 2 billion users on Instagram, to kind of springboard Threads, give it a bit of an advantage. And so a lot of people who have left X or are concerned about Elon Musk's increasing politicization of the platform. He's becoming, let's face it, it's a fire hose of toxicity and xenophobia and bots and conspiracy theories. And they're saying they need to find a kinder, gentler place. And Threads has emerged as one of those alternatives alongside, of course, Blue Sky, which is also getting a lot of attention for exactly the same reason these days. Basically, people are looking to get off of X, and between Threads and Blue Sky, those are sort of the two leading contenders to sort of take over from where X leaves off.
So are you on both? Have you looked at both? Blue Sky
I'm on
and
both.
Threads?
Yeah. As soon as they were available, with Blue Sky, for example, when it was an invitation only last year, I set myself up on it. And I've been sort of posting alongside both Threads as well as X, so like the three of them side by side.
Okay.
And what I notice is that Threads it's almost like you sign up for it, you post a few things, but you don't really engage in conversations with your community. So it's there. They've got a really big user install base, 275 million, but not a lot of people are really engaging with each other. You might look at it once or twice per day, and usually only because it showed up on your Instagram feed. Whereas with Blue Sky, I still have a much smaller network because I've only been on it for a little over a year, whereas with X, I've been on it for over 15 years. But I find the level of engagement when I post over the last month or so, as more and more people keep coming over from X, there's conversation. It's almost like what Twitter used to be in the early days, where it felt like the digital town square. So Blue Sky has a smaller install base there at about 23 million so far and growing, but it's a very different architecture. It works differently, and even though it's officially smaller than Threads, there are a lot of people saying that this feels like what Twitter could have been if Elon Musk hadn't bought the company. A lot of people are saying this is going to be the one that ultimately wins. And if you do a deeper dive into what we call the metrics, the other statistics, how much time people spend on the app, engagement, is this the first thing that they reach for in the morning? It's Blue Sky that has it all over Threads, and because of that, Meta is kind of panicking. They're introducing new features faster than they would have, trying to compete against Blue Sky. It's like social media dogfighting 101 all over again.
All right. Well, at the end of the day, I guess they're not all going to survive. I can't see three of them surviving. Can you?
They do different things, and I think as long as Threads, because it kind of exists in Meta's existing universe, I think it'll continue to survive and bring in new audiences. With Blue Sky, it was created by the same guy who created Twitter, Jack Dorsey, and it's a not-for-profit company, so it's got a very different business model. They say they're not going to train on AI, they're not going to turn it into an algorithmic nightmare, they're not going to serve up conspiracy theories, it isn't about money. So I think there might very well be room. This might be kind of social media 2.0, because certainly social media 1.0 has been a bit of a disaster for all of us. This might be a kinder, gentler way to do social media into the future, maybe leaving all the other platforms behind.
All right, let me move on to this other story. We talk about AI, it seems, on a fairly regular basis. You have a headline that says it's been ruled, I guess, a court has decided, it's in the U.S., I guess, that the school did nothing wrong when it punished the student getting caught using AI. So what's this about?
So, a high school student it was a history report, and he submitted it using output from an AI chatbot. And he didn't just use it to help him research. He cut and pasted the results from the bot into a document and submitted it as is. When the school used, and many schools in Montreal use this, the Turnitin feature or service to tell if there's been plagiarism or if it used AI, the red light started going off. This was AI, this was plagiarized, and he failed the assignment. And so the school very, rightly, told him, if you want to, you have an opportunity to redo the assignment. Instead of, responding in that way, he spoke to his parents and they sued the school. And the parents said the kid did nothing wrong. There were no rules that specifically said they couldn't use chatbots. Anyway, the U.S. District Court in Massachusetts has found in favor of the school, essentially saying it was well within their rights to punish the student for using AI, that there was a code of conduct they had distributed about AI. And I think this is an important precedent, and this will apply in other jurisdictions because we're starting to see lawsuits around AI use in schools. And now the courts are essentially saying, no, even if we don't have brand new laws that explicitly talk about technologies, this is just another modern, high-tech digital form of plagiarism. And you try suing the schools are well within their rights to punish kids who use this technology.
So much for that, huh? Okay. Let me get to this last story because this, I think, for the 60 million people who watched the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, whatever you want to call that thing, you got a Florida man who's now suing Netflix, not over promoting what was supposed to be a boxing match that turned out not to be one, but over the fact that it was sort of glitchy, right? And I've seen all kinds of memes on social media, about this thing cutting out. You lost your signal for a while. It came back. It seems to me this is a pretty frivolous lawsuit, but what's the story here?
Oh, of course it would be Florida Man. So his name is Ronald Denton. He goes by the name Blue, apparently. I don't know why. Maybe he likes blue. And so he says the company forced an unwatchable spectacle upon the American people. He called the problems legendary. And he accuses Netflix of breach of contract and unfair deceptive actions. And so, I suspect this lawsuit is going to get tossed out. He could have just used Netflix maybe that night to watch a movie or a TV show because there's a lot of other stuff in the library. And if he wants to go back and watch it, it's available now. And apparently there are no glitches. And so I think the courts don't have a whole lot of patience for these kinds of cases. But this is America. They sue each other over far less in a very highly litigious society. And it'll be interesting to sort of see where this goes. Interestingly, Netflix has had a really lousy track record with streaming events, with live streams, with sports events, and things like that. And so they don't seem to learn their lesson. They don't seem to be buying enough data center capacity, don't seem to be working with their cloud partners to make sure that these things actually work when you advertise them. So they deserve to get slapped a little bit because this is not the way you run a streaming company. But, lawsuits from people who say that, they force a spectacle on the American public, they could have just switched the channel or watched something else. Yeah. They don't have to call a lawyer.
Would have been great if it actually had been a spectacle. It was the wrong kind.
Yeah, it was really a bust, wasn't it? It just I watched the re-record after the fact. I lasted about 5 minutes, fell asleep, and decided I was done.
You know what? The one thing this has spawned that's great. There have been so many posts on Instagram or Twitter, or whatever, making fun of this. There's two. They somehow, I guess, use AI to have Mike Tyson and Jake Paul apparently in the ring fighting with pillows, and you can see the feathers fly as they hit each other. So some of that stuff has come out of this. It's been great. Carmi, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Talk to you next week. Yeah, there you go. So, that's not a bad idea. That's a great idea. Carmi Levy, CTV tech analyst.